Wednesday, February the 10th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. A lot to talk about. We are in the midst of some pretty brutally cold air, and it's going to get even colder over the weekend, and I am still eyeing a potential storm system early next week. I haven't really changed a lot of my thinking with that. I'll show you some of the modeling, and I'll show you what I'm thinking right now with the most likely forecast track of that low pressure, too, here as today's edition of the video rolls along. Let's begin with a look at the Winston-Salem Tower camera this morning. Clear and cold as we start the day. 23 degrees there at the Smith Reynolds Airport. It is cold all around the region as well. There's your 5:30 a.m. temperatures, teens in the mountains and a few isolated Piedmont spots, a lot of 20s elsewhere, 30s when you get along the coast. Look at that. That is a cold, snowy look from atop Beach Mountain, courtesy of our friends there at resortcams.com. The temperature there atop Beach is 9 degrees right now. Look at some of these other mountain temperatures early this morning. 9 in Rainbow Springs. Highlands reporting 8. Currently sitting right now at 10 degrees in Jessen Station in Bakersville. 4 in Banner Elk. It is a cold morning. Really cold in the mountains. Most of the North Carolina mountains included in a winter weather advisory still. The eastern Tennessee counties nosed up there against the North Carolina border. Still under winter storm warnings. I should say actually through Friday night, but you get the idea. Some more accumulating snow in some of those mountain spots, maybe another 3 to 6 inches between now and late Friday on those favored northwest-facing slopes. And boy, the ski resorts doing great. This is pristine, prime ski conditions at all the resorts out there across the region. Pure powder, great stuff if you want to head up that way. Now, occasionally you've had these little spokes of energy pivoting around this big trough that kind of cruise into the mountains, ring out a little snow. We had some flurries east of the mountains here and there yesterday. Maybe a flurry or two today as well, but not a big deal, certainly by any stretch of the imagination. East of the mountains, a partly sunny sky. It's still going to be breezy. There's your triad winds. It'll be similar down around the Charlotte area too, and wind chill values at their warmest in the 20s today. There's your highs this afternoon. A cold day, many of us heading down into the upper teens, then for lows in the Piedmont tonight. Tomorrow, lots of Piedmont sunshine. In spite of that sun, another cold day across the region. And then we get out to Friday. A little low pressure tries to spin up along the coast. Some precipitation, a possibility with that. Let me show you back on the zero-Z run of the NAM, what it was indicating. I think the moisture is pretty limited with this. Certainly a few snow showers are a possibility here and there across North Carolina, maybe the upstate of South Carolina, but at this point moisture looks very limited with that. Cold Friday forecast, and then we get into a big-time weekend Arctic blast. It'll be brutally cold over the weekend. I'll show you more on that in a moment, too. Now, this was the zero-Z run of the GFS, what it did, and I'll just show you some of the values from it. This was the snow charts from the zero-Z GFS, and then you had a pretty significant amount of ice. Well, actually, that's the newest run. The 6Z's popped into the system now. Stand by. Let me get you the zero-Z. All right, there was that zero-Z run of the GFS, the previous run where it had a pretty significant amount of icing. Now, I'm going to show you a lot of model data here in just a second, but here's the bottom line. Here's what I'm going with, I think, for the most likely track of this low pressure. Now, again, you have model solutions that go anywhere from the Ohio Valley with this low pressure track to suppress way off the coast. But I'm kind of sticking with this idea I've had for a while now. I'm going to go with this type of idea for a low. And if that's correct, you're looking at especially, say, I-85 corridor and then over toward Raleigh and points north from there. You have initially some snow kicking over to freezing rain or sleet, and then maybe even pure rain, depending on the track of that low pressure. Now, again, that's way too early for those types of specifics, but I'm just saying that I think that's the most likely track right now. Let me show you the modeling data here, and boy, there's a ton of it I want to show you. Let's go to the European model. This is the zero-Z run of the European. There's your trough swinging in Monday evening, and on the GFS, the zero-Z run, you had a scenario by Tuesday morning that looked like that. So let me step you through that zero-Z run of the GFS first, okay? There is, first of all, Friday. It tried to print out just a little bit of light snow or a few snow showers as that system then exits. But let's go out to the system early next week. This is Monday. Again, this was the overnight run of the GFS, the zero-Z run. So that is valid Monday early afternoon. 6 hours later, That is an ice and snow mix. 6 hours later, you see I-85 north and west. You're trying to hang on to icing in that scenario. And you wound up with snow totals that look like that on the 0Z run of the GFS. A closer inspection reveals that for snow totals. And again, you have a significant amount of, and this might be a little tough to see, but this is your freezing rain accumulation. This is snow. Not sleet, no sleet indicated, but there'd be some sleet in there as well. Let's see, I think I had another source here to show you that. Yeah, here we go. This was the 0Z GFS snow accumulation courtesy of Pivotal Weather. Okay, and then let me show you the ice accumulation it had for this. Again, this was the previous run of the GFS. I'm going to resize that a bit where you can see. There you go. That was the ice accumulation from the previous run of the GFS model. Okay. I may have got my modeling mixed up. That may be the Canadian, but either way. All right, speaking of the Canadian, let me step you through that very quickly. Let's see. All right, there's the Canadian. This is its representation of the Friday system. I can notice, again, not much precipitation there. But then we go Monday. Okay, 6 hours later. There you go. 6 hours later. Yeah, that was the ice chart from the Canadian I showed you a moment ago. My apologies for that. And then the system goes out to sea. So again, that is your Canadian model snow chart there. All right, that's the Canadian model snow chart. And then there's your Canadian model ice accumulation. Let me get that size up for you. There you go, right there. All right, so let's go to the European. And it has changed with the most recent run. All right, so this was the 0Z run from the last night of the European. There we are Monday. We go out to Monday night, and there's your primary low going up to the Ohio Valley. I don't think that is the most likely solution. You look at, let me just show you this. All right, so this is the operational European right there with its low pressure Monday evening over Kentucky and Tennessee. At the same time, there's what it looks like on the ensembles. And you have a lot of low pressure tracks that are more along that track I showed you, that hand-drawn chart I showed you a little bit earlier. I also, at this point, am throwing out the UK Met solution. It is a pretty reliable model at this range, but I think it's over-amplifying things back here with the Mississippi Valley. And that solution, you wind up with a stronger low that floods everything with warm air, and you end up with mainly a rain-producing system. That's much later, really not until late Tuesday or Wednesday. I don't think that's the most likely solution. And again, I kind of lean with something like the HPC, or well, now the WPC is showing. This is what their hand-drawn chart shows for Monday morning and then Tuesday morning. And again, I kind of independently drew my chart, and it ended up pretty similar to what they had too. I'm going to go with that type of idea, just taking a combination of the overall weather pattern, the synoptics, the ensemble data. So, we'll see. If that solution is correct, it is a snow to ice scenario in the cold air damming regions. But again, if something like the operational European verifies, and this is way up in the Ohio Valley, much more limited with any wintry precip potential. And finally, before I wrap up the video, I don't want to miss talking about the significant cold this weekend. All right, this is off of the GFS model. There are your high temperatures Saturday, and then there's your low temperatures Sunday morning, and even a little bit colder in many spots Sunday afternoon for highs than Saturday. So definitely a big-time cold shot of air. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I know I threw a lot at you. The bottom line with all this is that, again, there's a potential system. Well, there'll most likely be a system Monday, but there's a potential winter weather-producing system, especially in the cold air damming areas of the foothills, parts of the Piedmont, maybe the northern upstate of South Carolina, Monday and Monday night. A lot of uncertainty to continue to iron out for you, and we'll do just that in coming days. That's it for today. Have a great day, stay warm, and God bless.